Welcome to Gallaghers microbrewery where you brew.
Hi there, I'm Roy Harvey. I'm down here today to kind of share a little secret with you. It's how to do some really nice, easy home brewing, and you don't have to do it at home. If you're anything like me, I'd love to make some home brew beer, and in the past, I've never kind of gotten around to doing it. You know, you got to get all the equipment and the supplies, and you got to learn how to make the beer, and I just wasn't quite my cup of tea. But I found Gallaghers Where You Brew, which is a microbrewery for the public to come and brew their beer. And it's just fantastic, and it's so nice and easy. I just had to make a video to share with everybody. So I'd like to kind of tell you a little bit about how it goes together here. Is you come into the brewery and meet a couple of the brewmasters, and what you want to do to brew a beer is to, first of all, decide what kind of beer you like, and it's really easy. They've got a great big list of all kinds of wonderful micro brews, Red Hook brews, Mac and Jack, all those kind of beers that you will find that you really like, and you just pick out one of those beers that you like, and there's a associated recipe where you can get a very, very similar beer to like a Mac and Jack. It's you can just about can't tell the difference, and so it's really, really terrific. You can come down here and do your own micro brewing, and the best part of the deal is you don't have to supply any of the equipment, you don't have to do any of the supplies or ingredients. It's all here for you. Over here on this counter, we have a great big list of grains, and so what we do is we take the grains that we're going to use according to our recipe. We measure those out, crack the grains right here, and have these great big wonderful copper kettles. Let me have you take a look over here at these copper kettles. These are all professional microbrew kettles that we get to use. Currently some brewing is going on, so you can kind of see some of the steam and everything. But let me have you come back over here again. We've got all the equipment that we need to measure out the grains and do all the work. We've got special colored plates for the hops, and the instructions just kind of tell you exactly how much of what ingredient we need to use. We use liquid malts here, and so we'll be using some of these liquid malts in our beer. I've chosen to brew up a Nut House Brown for you today. It's like my favorite beer. Boy, I wish you could taste it. So that's what we're preparing to do. I just wanted to do a little video to show you how easy it is to come in and do your own homebrew, microbrew, right down here at Gallaghers Where You Brew. So we'll see you back here in just a few minutes, and we'll go through those steps, and we're gonna brew a microbrew with you. Hey, we're back with you here today, and I've got our recipe ready to go. So it's a really great little recipe. It shows me exactly how much grains and what malts, hops and yeast that goes into my recipe for a Nut House Brown Ale. I can't wait to drink that. So I just have the simple little recipe card over here, and let's go ahead and get started with number one. The first thing to do is to go start putting some water in our kettle. So come on down here with me. We've got kettle number one today. Oh, these are fantastic to use. My goodness. These are all just some really great copper lined kettles, and they've got a great big boiler system. And so it's not heated by flame or electricity, it's heated by boiling water and steam. So it's a beautiful, consistent heat. But what we have to do right now is put in our marker, our big paddle that we have, and we're going to fill up the water about that far, about up to here in here. That won't take too long. We do have a couple of valves here to work with a little bit later on after we're done, but once we get the water in there, we're going to put the grains in there and turn the steam on to get things heated up. But the grains go in there cold at first, so it's like making a great big vat of tea. It ain't tea. Okay, let's come on over here, and the next thing to do while that water is going is I just got to weigh out my grains, and I actually have weighed out some of the grains in here already. But let me reset my measuring device, and we have to put in another 250 grams of chocolate grain. Grams. We've got a lineup of just some wonderful smelling whole grains to work with. And I need to pour in about 250 grams. There we go. Getting that in there real nice. A little bit more. Just a little bit more, just a little bit more. Okay, wow. 251. I'm buying it. 251. Let's come on over and check the water out and see how we're doing. Ooh, just a skosh more on the water. Got a great big paddle. We'll be putting the grains into our nice container here so it can steep into that water. Oh, perfect. So that is a real important part to do is when we start our beers up here, we put all the grain into the water cold and let everything heat up together. Last thing to do here before we end this little section is to crack the grains. Come on over here. We've got our little grain cracker. Just pour those whole grains in there and we be cracking. Doesn't take too long. And all it's doing is popping the seed husk there. That's what we're going to base our mash on, is all of our grain. After I get this steeping in the water, I'm going to turn the steam on to get things to slowly start warming up while I pour out the liquid malts and also do our hops. Almost done. Does it for that. Got all the grains cracked, and I'm ready to go dip it into that ice cold water. It's like a big metal screen, and it's just really great to have the right equipment. And we're just gonna stick it in there and see if you can picture that in there. It's great. So you just kind of swish it around and dangle that in there and let it make a nice mash. Nice grain tea. Several other vats of beer brewing right now for the house. There's a Gallaghers Where You Brew always has about 6 wonderful Gallaghers beer on tap. So it's really cool. It's a very nice social meeting place also, and people can come down and try some of the beers out on tap, and also brew their own beers. And there's a complete wine section here also for brewing wine, but that's another story. Right now I've got to get the steam going and get things warmed up. So just turn that steam valve on about halfway. And it's just real easy directions. My mama could do it. So I can hear the little snap crackle pop of that steam, and that'll heat the cold water and the grains slowly. All right, let me get organized and I'll see you back in just a few minutes.